round of applause, and we stand as he comes up. Thank you.
Thank you, Presi. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Program Director, DG Pindile Baleni, Minister for the Public Service and Administration, Zambo Butelezi, all Cabinet Ministers and Deputy Ministers here present, Premiers of our provinces here present, Professor Somadoda Figeni, Chairperson of the Public Service Commission, Directors General and Heads of Department here present, facilitators, speakers, and panelists, representatives of labor, organized business, academia, research institutions, and civil society. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Goeiemorgen, dumelang, sanbonani, lochani, abshin, dimachero. It is my distinct honor to share some thoughts with you as we open this important seminar or roundtable dialogue, as we refer to it, a timely platform for confronting one of the most consequential and sensitive issues facing South Africa's state machinery, the political administrative interface. This happens just before our one-year anniversary as a government of national unity that is bound together by a quest to attain three strategic priorities: building inclusive economic growth, reducing poverty, and building an ethical, capable developmental state. Central to attaining these three strategic priorities is ensuring sound institutional design that is responsive to the prevailing challenges and the nuances of a modern state that is agile enough to respond to a rapidly changing environment. In this vein, the synthesis evaluation we are reflecting on today, conducted by the Human Sciences Research Council under the stewardship of the Policy and Research Services in the Presidency, is not a routine performance review. It serves as a sobering mirror held up to the state, revealing systemic vulnerabilities, institutional dysfunction, and a lack of protection for those entrusted to lead departments and drive delivery. We convene with the recognition that effective governance requires more than just good intentions. It demands functional systems, clear accountability, and seamless coordination between those who set policy and those who implement it. It tells us what many of us have known for a long time, but perhaps not fully addressed it. One of that is that high turnover amongst director generals and heads of departments erodes institutional memory, undermines policy continuity, and often dampens morale. Also, that political interference in administrative decisions across government and state-owned enterprises, particularly appointments, procurement, and financial management, creates a precarious environment, making even our most qualified professionals hesitant to serve or unable to act with integrity. Also, that performance management systems and legal frameworks often incentivize short-term salute compliance rather than long-term collaboration and innovation. And that career civil servants are being asked to carry constitutional mandates in spaces that lack stability, clarity, or professional respect. The net effect of all these institutional weaknesses erodes the trust of the people, undermines investor confidence, and compromises our standing in the international community as it perpetuates the perception of a failing state. The significance of today's engagements cannot be overstated as we progress in our commitment to establishing a capable and developmental state, which continues to be a key priority of the 7th administration. We believe that a capable and developmental state refers to a government that has the essential resources and skills to successfully execute policies that foster economic growth and enhance the well-being of its citizens. This requires a knowledgeable and effective public service, strong institutions, and a dedication to tackling the fundamental issues of poverty and inequality. Thus, a developmental, capable, and ethical state required skilled managers, especially DGs and HODs, with clear lines of authority and accountability to execute their duties in a way that achieves optimal outputs and agreed outcomes. This requires a political and administrative environment that is free from undue political interference, with effective systems and with a consistent and fair application of rules. Ladies and gentlemen, in South Africa, the urgency to enhance state capacity has never been more pressing. Our nation has made strides in the past, overcoming immense challenges to secure our democracy and pursue socio-economic progress. Yet, we acknowledge that there are areas where our state machinery still lags behind, hindering our ability to deliver on the promises of our Constitution. We acknowledge that our ability to deliver on the promises we have made to our citizens in the Medium-Term Development Plan and the National Development Plan 2030 rests fundamentally on the capacity, stability, and the professionalism of our public service. This makes it important that we address with urgency the foundational issues that have hampered our progress thus far. If we are honest with ourselves, we will all agree that tensions and instability in relationships at this interface clearly remain a matter of great concern for all respondents, both accounting officers and executive authorities. Without doubt, these problems are compounded by a history of apartheid and its lingering effects, corruptions, skills gaps, and a lack of accountability. However, the question of political and administrative interface continues to be a source of concern for a well-functioning government that provides services to citizens. Ladies and gentlemen, in the light of the fact that we are aware of the factors that are preventing us from making necessary interventions to obtain objectives that we have set out in our blueprint of a developmental state, achieving a developmental state at a rapid pace, we need to ask ourselves how we can effectively construct a capable state. A state that will ensure that citizens have access to basic services, a growing economy that creates jobs, and our youthful population that is inspired to build viable startups that can compete at the global level. None of this is abstract. The evaluation findings show that when interface is unstable, plans remain unfunded, policies are inconsistently applied, and citizens lose trust in the state. When directors generals are routinely removed or undermined, when procurement processes are politicized, or when coordination efforts fail due to poor design and mistrust, it is not just departments that suffer, it is the South African people. If we are serious about building a capable, developmental, and ethical state, we must recognize that reforming the interface is a precondition, not the afterthought. We must move from compliance to coherence, from fear to integrity, from institutional drift to decisive alignment. This calls, amongst others, that we revisit our institutional design to respond to governance deficits that in certain instances manifest themselves through acts of corruption or malfeasance. The recently launched white paper on local government, which seeks to review the 1998 version, is one amongst the many interventions being undertaken by this administration. Equally, as government, we must deal with corruption which jeopardizes sustainable economic development, ethical principles, and justice. Corruption in both public and private sector erodes public trust in government and undermines service delivery, impacting the most vulnerable in our society. In our quest of effectively building a capable state, we also need to put a sharp focus on the leadership. The findings of the report underscores that the instability at the highest echelons of our public service has a negative impact on the state's ability to deliver on its development objectives. It is important to highlight that the lack of consistency in leadership and institutional memory, particularly of directors generals, compromises the government's ability to implement and oversee policies in the long term. To add to this, if we are to make significant strides in the implementation of our developmental goals, we must work the recommended policy and legal reforms. The depoliticization of accounting to stress that depoliticization is not about diminishing the importance of political leadership, but rather about role clarification, appropriate devolution of power, and clarifying the lines of accountability to enable optimal functioning of both the executive and the administrative leadership. This means that the public service needs to be immersed in the development agenda, but insulated from undue political interference. We need to institutionalize administrative duties and the ability to carry out government programs regardless of political leadership transitions. Transitioning to a capable developmental state necessitates a series of bold actions that place the state at the center of the transformational process, most notably with respect to leadership. However, the state needs the skilled workforce to drive economic growth, reduce unemployment, and foster innovation. A cornerstone in our skills development strategy is our collaboration with the National School of Government, which has played a significant role in supporting our objective of professionalizing the public service. As the Human Resource Development Council, which I chair, we are also playing a key role in the professionalization of South Africa, particularly within the public sector, by focusing on strategic planning, skills development, and addressing skills gaps. It also monitors the implementation of HRD strategies and provide a platform for social partners to address challenges. Investing in continuous training and professional development is crucial for public servants to effectively implement sustainable development policies and programs. This equips them with the necessary tools and knowledge to tackle complex challenges and drive innovation. Distinguished guests, we cannot ignore the fact that South Africa stands at the crossroads where institutional stability is no longer merely about administrative goals, but an essential component of our efforts to advance inclusive economic growth, create meaningful employment opportunities, and reduce the persistent poverty that affects so many of our citizens. Through the discussions to be held at this roundtable this morning, we hope to work together to accelerate and deepen this professionalization agenda as we interrogate how the political and administrative leaders can better work together. The government is implementing the national framework towards professionalization of the public service to improve service delivery, address poor performance among senior staff, and improve retention. The framework focuses on meritocracy, competency, impartiality, and accountability, aimed to build a capable, professional, and ethical government. Approved by government in October 2022, the framework signifies the government commitment to improving the public service capability. The establishment of the head of public administration is a significant milestone in stabilizing the political administrative interface and promoting merit-based appointments of heads of departments. Additionally, the sixth administration passed the Local Government Municipal Systems Amendment Act and initiated a set of legislation to professionalize local government. Parliament is currently processing amendments to the Public Service Act, the Public Administration Management Act, and the Public Service Commission Amendment Bill. These bills are currently before the National Council of Provinces for concurrence. Through the Public Service Commission Amendment Bill in particular, the mandate of the Public Service Commission will now be extended to include local government and public entities. This will strengthen its powers to support government efforts in professionalizing the public service. Additionally, the synthesis evaluation on state capacity conducted by the Human Sciences Research Council provided compelling evidence or evidence-based insights into the challenges that we face. The report confirmed the issue identified in the professional or professionalization framework that once again stressed the need for consistency in leadership to realize long-term development goals. In essence, there is strong recognition that a successful and professional public service must be supported and enabled by a sound legal framework, guided by constitutional principles and robust legislation. Equally, what is more important is the cultivation of strong intergovernmental relations that enable seamless cooperation across national, provincial, and local spheres. This is where the issue of intergovernmental collaboration for effective service delivery comes into effect. The Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, 1996, provides institutions with guidelines on how to collaborate and coordinate amongst all three spheres of government to avoid conflict of interest. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to end by pointing out that small, medium, and micro enterprises, SMMEs, especially those from disadvantaged communities, significantly contributes to the construction of a capable state. They drive growth, job creation, and innovation, thus fostering inclusive transformation, supporting marginalized communities, and contributing to the nation's economic diversification. SMMEs are vital engines of growth and development. Government recognizes the importance of SMMEs and provides support through various initiatives, including financial assistance, business infrastructure support, and facilitating market access. However, we need to improve how we support our small businesses who contribute to our economy and provide much-needed employment. This includes ensuring that small businesses are always paid on time by all government departments and agencies. In this regard, I have proposed the establishment of war rooms in accordance with the three objectives of the medium-term development plan as decided by Cabinet. This will include a war room on the economy and jobs, a war room on poverty and hunger, and a war room on clean governance. Prioritizing 10 to 15-day payment cycles and transformative procurement. We have been working to improve the payment cycle process since my address on the 5th of May this year during the launch of the Transformation Fund, which was launched by Minister Tau. We hope that you will collaborate with us to ensure that this becomes a component of the performance evaluation of heads of departments and political heads, with consequences for those who don't meet the standard. I'm of the firm view that this is feasible, as there are already municipalities that have successfully implemented short invoice payment turnaround times. In driving this process of reducing red tape and maximizing efficiency in supply chain, we must also remember that the livelihoods of many small businesses, many of them owned by women, youth, people with disabilities, and other vulnerable groups that conduct business with the state rely on these efficiencies for sustenance. It is not just about meeting pay cycle targets, but also about ensuring that workers are paid on time and that their businesses are empowered to function optimally. The path forward is clear and will require that, as a necessary first step, that we stabilize the political administrative interface through clear legal and policy frameworks. The citizens of our country deserve our full commitment to this vital task. Let us move forward together in service to our nation and its people, guided by the Batho Pele ethos of putting people first. As we embark on this journey to strengthen South Africa's state capability, let us be guided by a sense of communal purpose and duty. But in everything we do, we must be motivated by speed of execution, getting things done while maintaining high levels of excellent service. Let us remember that the success of our nation hinges on the strength of our state institutions and the dedication of those who serve within them. In conclusion, Program Director, let us always remember that the political administrative interaction is critical for policy formulation and execution, with politicians creating policy and administrators implementing it. We all have a vital role in the creation of a capable state. I would have wanted to stay longer today to hear most of the engagement, but unfortunately I have to attend to some other pressing matters. But I've decided I'll stay until lunchtime so I can benefit from some of the contributions that will be made this morning. With those few words, ladies and gentlemen, I wish you well in this roundtable dialogue, and I have no doubt that we are on the right track, we are focused, and in the long run, we will get this right so that our state can function optimally. All the best. Ki a leboga. A kensa inko.
Another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.